Sometimes in life, when we get negative, it's because we want control. That's where we at The Gamer come in with our list of 6 top-shelf controllers you want to have in your hands right after your next payday to PC game like a BOSS. Get your gaming life back with the $160 King of Controllers. This pro tool lets you customize your directional pads so they can go wherever you want them to be. The thumbstick tension can be played with to your taste. To make quick moves and sharp turns in a game, increase the sensitivity. To make gradual moves to, say, land a plane or get your truck out of the mud, decrease it. 3 trigger sensitivity options allow for faster or slower trigger pulling, so you can fire quickly in a melee or real slow if you need to take a hot second to think before taking the shot. Its 4 paddle shifters or actuators in the back click real nice so you know when you've pressed them. Wonderful to use for simulating a paddle shifter in racing games or quick-firing grenades in Halo. The most important feature of these paddles is that you don't have to take your thumbs off the sticks to hit them, and that time saved makes you much more efficient. On top of that, you get a button to switch up your settings. This is a one-touch setup switch where you can cycle through 3 styles of play you set and 1 standard stock controller setup on the fly as you play. Or more likely, for example, have 1 profile for Gears of War, 1 for Hitman, and 1 for Cyberpunk. This thing is like Burger King. You can have it your way. Carry this thing around to gaming hubs in its pristine case and bust it out like Uncle Phil did with his Pool Cue Lucille in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode Banks Shot to intimidate your opponents. You can play game after game after game with this thing, as this controller is for those who aspire to make gaming their full-time job, as you get 40 hours of gameplay on 1 charge. One less thing to worry about while you save the world. Again. You can even charge it while it's docked in the case. The Bluetooth will extend this puppy's use to mobile gaming as well, fun for Apple Arcade and Android games. It's tough, reputed to be tried, tested, and true durable, and the grips stick to your hands like glue to make sure your work tool stays in your hands the way you need it to win-win-win. In the same way that a photographer needs a camera to be an extension of their bodies, gamers need their controllers to be an extension of their hands. Minimizing finger travel time to maximize in-game effectiveness has never been more possible than with these next-gen controllers. Bigger-handed gamers are going to love this one, and even though it's marketed as a PlayStation 4 gamepad, you can only unlock its full potential on PC in terms of remapping options. Control this wireless controller's weight with extra weight so it's as heavy in your hands as you want it to be. The customizable thumbsticks allow for different feels thanks to different degrees of amplitude. And its $140 price tag offers your thumbs 2 options for stick heads. It's a fair amount of dough, but its sweet diamond-shaped rubber grips give your hands that money feel. Your 4 mappable buttons run the back legs of the controller for those I don't want to take my thumbs off the joysticks fanatics. They are okay, but difficult to distinguish from one another just by touch. Create 4 easily switchable profiles on the software and cycle between them using the profile button. You gotta press your R1s and your L1s on the outer edges, and for the R2s and L2s there are no trigger stops, so you gotta pull them all the way to use them. They do click nice, offering a certain satisfaction when you pull one, especially if it's right in the nick of time in a game. The anti-friction rings around the thumbsticks are loved and adored around the world, and your movement in-game should be more aligned with staying alive thanks to this feature. The Nacon Revolution's got 7 hours of battery life, enough to beat 40% of Resident Evil 7 in one sitting. And lastly, the LED marker on the controller make for a pretty sight in the dark, giving your game time a fun disco feel. $160 for a wired controller? Give me reasons, you say? Okay, here goes. You can customize the Thrustmaster eSwap as much as the name would suggest. The curved triggers have nice grips and 2 selectable levels of tension, full and mid. You can make the analog and joystick switch places fully and completely, making it into a whole new controller. Want 3 joysticks, 3 D-pads? Done and done, you weirdo. Its next-gen mini-sticks are stiffer than your average for more precision, which should improve your golf handicap. The shapes and colors of the buttons are changeable in ways we never before thought possible. For those of you who want things to look the way you want them to look. You gotta pay for those extras though. Ain't nothing free on this list. The tactile buttons click real good, which is a real expensive but satisfying feature for some reason. And its 4 back buttons are real easy to find with your fingies. You can have 2 one-button push profiles on the eSwap X Pro, and you can control your volume through the controller. So when your games get erotic out of nowhere, turn that mother sucker down before you wake the judgier people you live with. And if you're alone, blast that sound. Feels good to be alone, don't it?
And I have breasts.
What?
And you have genitalia.
If you're like Joey from Dawson's Creek and have long fingers like her ideal mate,
How do you know?
Long fingers.
the Thrustmaster might go on your shopping list. Another $160 wired controller? Okay, let's get to 6 reasons why. The subtle light-up strip at the top is reminiscent of something from Tron, that's one. The A, B, X, and Y click so sweetly like one of RAZER's mouses. Its 4 aluminum back triggers, M3, M4, M5, and M6, look and feel like pistol triggers, giving it a cowboy look and feel. M5 controls focus and M6 agility, both with respect to your thumbstick. Great for aiming. Besides your RB, LB, and right and left triggers, which are adjustable by trigger stops, the Wolverine's got 2 multi-function bumpers on top, M1 and M2. Program them on the RAZER's app to do what you need to in the game. It comes with 2 different D-pads, 4-way and 8-way, and 4 different interchangeable thumbsticks. It's really light at a mere 260 grams. Okay, that's 5. It's got capable grips for the joysticks so they go where you want them to, so you crash and burn less and less. That's 6 right there. This is a consumer esports controller for the savant looking to play harder and smarter. Can a $200 controller in an already competitive space be worth it? This is an extremely ergonomic controller that fits hands like a surgical glove. All buttons are in reach at all times, and those back buttons are super easy to find and hit when you need to, although there are only 2. Disappointing when you know that there could be 4. You can remap any input to any other input, and you can make C40TR's thumbstick and trigger sensitivity whatever you need it to be. However, their thumbstick tension remains at a constant low and is unadjustable. Boo! This is where the bulk of your money goes, as changing trigger sensitivity to this degree can change the feel of a game. The closest comparison we can think of is of gas pedals in a car. Drive an older American sedan and the pedal sensitivity is low. Drive a newer Italian sports car and the sensitivity is super duper high. Now imagine being able to have different pedal sensitivities for every game. Wouldn't that be a trip? Toggle between 2 of your customized profiles on the slidable button on top. The grips are wonderful and the thumbsticks are switchable, and do 12-hour flights from LA to Paris playing wirelessly on a full charge. On the downside, it's a little on the heavy side and you do get the occasional stick drift, which doesn't match with the price tag. All in all, on our list, it is the prettiest and not coincidentally, the most expensivest controller and has the bestest triggers. On another list, this wired controller would be number 1, and here's 6 rapid-fire reasons why. 1. It's only $20, 10% of the cost of an ASTRO C40TR. 2. It's the number 1 selling controller on Amazon. 3. I beat Cuphead using it, and oh yes, that game is hard. 4. There's no newer PC game known at this time it doesn't work with. 5. Just plug and play. Game time is not always a time for thinking and improving with pro precision. Sometimes game time, win or lose, is time for fun. Cheap thrills can be the best thrills. Think of the best gaming nights of your life. Were they punctuated by having the best controller money can buy, or were they fun because they were fun? Sometimes all a controller needs to be is there, and you do the rest. 6. I'm never gonna learn to game with a keyboard and a mouse, and neither are you. That's why I made and you watched this video. Honorable mentions for PC-worthy gamepads go to the Xbox 360 controller, which you can get secondhand for around $20, and the $40 Power A Spectra, both very good budget options. Ciao!